So you want to become an Apple genius? You've come to the right place. Hey, what's up guys? It's Supoman here. Subscribe below for more awesome videos. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed yet? You have. Excellent. Let's get started. So I've worked for Apple before and people ask me, is it a cult? It's certainly a cause. You need to have the correct mindset to be an Apple genius or an Apple specialist. So basically the whole culture is about building this brilliant relationship between the customer and their amazing technology. If you have a passion to do that, fantastic. That's the first step. If you haven't, it's not going to be for you. Apple spend a lot of time making these magical products and they want only the best representing them. So, how to apply? First thing you do is go to the website and fill it out. So what you need to do is you need to say what position you want, whether that's a specialist or genius or family room specialist, whichever position you're interested in. Typically, a genius sits in the genius bar. They're the hardware specialist. They normally fix your problem or advise you how you can fix your problem and service your product. Then you've got specialists. The specialists are the guys that you will typically see wandering around the shop floor. They have an intricate knowledge of every Apple product. So apply for your position, apply for the store that you want or stores you want to work in, apply for the hours, then that's done. Then you have to complete the typical application form stuff, your education, your experience, etc., etc. Then weeks or months later, you'll hear from them and they will normally have a venue set up. You'll go for a group interview. Typically what happens is you go into the group interview and there's about 10 to 15 other people, typically very young, in between kind of 18 and 23. And then you'll get some of the old codgers like me. And they'll show you a load of videos and they'll ask you what's Apple trying to achieve from this, and they're trying to get a flavour for if you're the right person for them. Are you the person that's going to be giving them the customer service they need Apple to give to customers? Then you'll go through some really fun role plays. You'll have customers walking in and they're after a specific product and you've got to identify the right one for them. It is actually more fun than you think. Then you've got to do a presentation about a specific product and why it's good for a particular type of customer. If you pass the group interview, you will then be asked for a one-to-one interview with a store manager of the store that you're looking to apply for or a nearby store. They'll typically ask you competency-based questions. Can you give me a time when you've done this? A time when you've received great feedback? A time when you've had to give negative feedback? They'll ask you for your greatest achievement in life. What are your favourite Apple products, etc., etc. If you pass that, then you'll have a meet and greet with Apple staff members, and that'll be the final sifting. If you make it through that, your quid's in. So then you get your awesome Apple job, whether it's a genius or whether it's a specialist. But before you go through anything, you will go through 14 days of Apple University. Apple University is this intense boot camp where you go through all sorts of stuff. You go through how to ask open and closed questions, how to sell, how to give feedback, diagnostics, wireless networking, how to service your product, all sorts. It's an amazing boot camp. To be honest, it's the best boot camp you'll receive in retail. Once you've done that, you're then on the shop floor and then is your time to shine. But I'm going to share with you 3 secrets in the Apple training. So firstly, it's the sales approach. You've actually got the acronym APPLE to describe the sales approach. So the approach is A, approach, P, probe, P, present, L, listen, E, the end. So approach, basically that's where you approach the customer and ask, what can I help you with? What can I be of assistance with today? Then you start probing. What's important to you? Power, speed, portability. After that, you present the best solution for their needs. So a MacBook Pro if they want power and speed. A MacBook Air if they want speed and portability. And then listen. Hear what they've got to say. They'll kind of come to a conclusion or a sale on their own. And then you'll end and you'll close the sale. Apple secret number 2. Empathy. Feel, felt, found. Don't know if you've ever heard it before, but basically feel, felt, found describes the structure of the empathetic phrases that you use. So firstly, you'll normally say, I feel what you're saying, or I appreciate what you're saying. Then you'll go on to felt. I felt the same way before. Other people have felt the same way too. And then found. But what they found is, or what I found is, etc. So let me give you an example of that. So you're an Apple specialist. They say to you, this MacBook is just too expensive. What you'll typically say is something along the lines of, I can understand why you feel this way. I felt the same way before. I had a Windows computer and I felt Macs were way too expensive. But what I found is that a MacBook is of real value because it's got the most powerful and small technology inside the computer. And you won't need to replace your laptop every 3 to 5 years. Apple have this fantastic culture where you're either giving or receiving feedback about how you're performing, or you're giving feedback about how you see others performing, and giving feedback as to how they can perform better. So typically, how you would do it is you do it in the form of a feedback sandwich. You normally say positive, negative, positive. So you'd say something along the lines of, if I was giving feedback, I'd say, hello Adam, I overheard your conversation with that customer and you were brilliant at your product knowledge. What I would say is that you probably went on to selling too fast without asking enough questions. But next time, I imagine you'll be much, much better. It sounds really patronising, and obviously I wouldn't say it in that way, but that's the kind of the vibe that you'll give in your feedback. Normally, what people are taught to do when you are receiving feedback is you go up and you say thanks. Thank you for that, and then the giver will say no problem. So those are the 3 secrets of being Apple staff, whether it's a genius or whether it's a specialist. So is it for you? If it is, give it a go. Being a genius is one of the most rewarding jobs on the planet. Working for Apple is a very, very privileged position. I'm not going to deny that. I loved working for Apple. It taught me a lot about creating products, about creating beautiful products, and about giving the great after-sales stuff as well. So I'm not an Apple evangelist. I'm not going to go, oh yeah, I love Apple, etc., etc. But it is a superb place to work. And if it sounds like the right job for you, go and apply now. Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoy my other videos. This has been Supoman. Adios.